to you by Kellogg's. Kellogg's Cereals. The best to you each morning from Kellogg's of Battle Creek. Now let's all play What's My Line? And now from New York, let's meet our What's My Line panel. First, the popular columnist whose voice of Broadway appears in papers from coast to coast, Miss Dorothy Kilgallen.
And on my left, our brilliantly talented friend, Martin Gabel.
On my left, a girl just back from the beautiful tropics of Miami Beach, Florida, Miss Arlene Francis.
Thank you, Martin. And now a gentleman who is not only the joy of Random House, but the joy of Mount Kisco, Mr. Bennett, Cerf.
Here is a distinguished panel moderator and a sayer of feminine pulchritude at beauty contests, Mr. John Charles Daly.
There's one thing that can be said about Bennett and about me. It doesn't take a beauty contest to make us the sayers of female pulchritude. You can say that again. Martin, it is very nice to see you again there, sir, on the panel.
Thank you. I also know something about beauty, John.
That you do, that you do. That lovely bride, you should indeed, and we trust that we can make your visit enjoyable tonight in terms of the interesting occupations which we have to serve up. We will also have a famous mystery guest before my friends on the panel a little bit later in the program, and we'll meet our first challenger after this word. And now to meet our first contestant. Will you enter and sign in, please? Donna Mitchell, is that right? Is it Miss or Mrs.?
Miss.
Miss Mitchell? And where are you from?
Rio Linda, California.
Rio Linda, California? What's that,
That's just outside of Sacramento.
Just outside of Sacramento. It's a lovely country. Nice to have you with us. May I present our panel? Now, would you join me over here, please? Do you know how we keep score on What's My Line? In that event, we'll let the audience at home and the audience in the theater know exactly what your line is. All right, panel, we can tell you that Miss Mitchell is self-employed and deals in a service. And I think we'll put you to work right away, Martin Gabel.
Thank you, John. Miss Mitchell, coming as you do from near the capital of the second most populated state in the Union.
Most.
Please, Bennett. I'm speaking as a patriotic New Yorker. Have you anything to do with the state government of California?
Nope, that's one down and 9 to go, Miss Francis.
Is there something about your service that would cause people to be entertained?
Yes.
The people that come to get your service, would they come to you in a large area of entertainment?
Yes.
Would it be like a playground or a park or a Freedom Land type of place?
Yes.
It could be. In other words, your description of its size encompasses that particular element into which we might agree Miss Mitchell normally would go to purvey her service.
Are you something other than a performer?
Yes.
Well, now, I think here, with your permission, since the issue has been raised as to whether there is an element of entertainment, we would have to agree in this large sense of entertainment that you are a performer. So that'd be 2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Miss Mitchell, does the work that you do require any physical dexterity?
Yes.
Do you perform this work in any form of athletic endeavor?
Well, I would say, Bennett, to be fair to you, that we will agree that some degree of athletic skill would be helpful and probably necessary to the efficient performance of the duty.
Miss Mitchell, did you do your work in a troop rather than alone? Is there a group that does the particular work that you do?
Yes.
Might you call it an act?
No.
No, no act. 3 down and 7 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Do you do it on land?
Yes.
Could you do it in the East as well as in California?
Yes.
Could a man do what you do?
Yes.
Do the people who watch you see your face?
They
Pardon?
can. To the people who watch see your face,
Yes.
they can.
But do you wear something other than an ordinary dress?
Yes.
And if you were wearing it now, we would all know what you do.
Yes.
Is music involved in what you do?
No.
4 down and 6 to go, Mr. Gabel.
Are there any animals or denizens of the sea involved in what you do?
Yes.
Are they...
Dennis and Mother.
Ooh, Lord.
Bennett, did you hear that?
Intended not to.
That's what comes from July heat. You must all forgive us.
Well, as saying your reply, are they sea creatures that you have to do with?
No.
That's also the July heat. That's 5 down and 5 to go, Miss Francis.
They are land creatures.
Yes.
Are they large animals?
Yes.
Would the animal be in the horse family?
Yes.
Like a horse? When you are performing your service, are you on the horse?
Yes.
Would you have anything to do with a track where other horses are competing?
Yes.
Are you a jockey?
Yes! Well, there's one thing, Donna, if I may call you that, to be sure that you have enough money for the parking meters in Sacramento. I want to turn all the cards over because it's nice to have you. Actually, Donna is a jockey, rides at local racetracks, and she races for prize money, you know. The remarkable thing is that about 75% of the time, Martin, Donna comes in and wins some prize money,
Really?
which is
Are they quarter horses?
I have quarter horses of my own, but I ride both.
Thoroughbreds and quarter horses.
Donna has 2 quarters of her own that she trains, and she rides those, but also rides other horses.
Do you
under
usually
her.
come from behind, or do you go to the front immediately?
That all depends on the horse.
Could I ask a question and show my stupidity? What is a quarter horse?
It's a horse that'll run for a quarter.
I thought you were going to say, Arlene, it's a horse that'll run a quarter of the way around the track and then quit.
Quarter horse.
Yeah, please, Martin, because
A
you
quarter
know the
horse serves a real function. The cowboys ride what are approximately quarter horses because they have a quick braking turn of speed, and they're very useful to corral a straying cow in a herd. So out west, they encourage this breed because they need them for all the great...
what makes them specifically quarter horses?
Because they can run a quarter of a mile, and they're a cross, I believe, usually between a Mustang and a thoroughbred, aren't they?
Yes.
Are you a jockey too, Martin?
I'm a city guy.
Well, Donna, I'm so glad you came to visit us. I never knew what a quarter horse was before, and I know now, as together with Arlene and Bennett and Dorothy. Martin knew all the time. We hope you enjoyed your visit. It was lovely to have you come to see us from California. Good night. Nice to see you. And now let's see what we can do with the second challenger. Would you enter and sign in, please? Hugh Wilson, right, sir? All right. Mr. Wilson, where are you from, sir?
Sunbury, Pennsylvania.
Sunbury, Pennsylvania. Nice to have you with us. There are some folks from Pennsylvania to give you moral support. May I present our panel, Mr. Wilson?
How do you do?
You join me over here, please, sir. You know how we keep score, Mr. Wilson? Every time you can give a no answer, I flip a card, 10 flips, and you've won. All right, now we'll let the audience in the theater and the audience at home know exactly what your line is. All right, panel, we can tell you that Mr. Wilson is self-employed, deals in a product, and we'll begin the general questioning with Bennett Cerf.
Mr. Wilson, is your product one that would be familiar to the distinguished members of this panel?
Yes.
Might it be used by all four of us?
No.
No, I would say no, Bennett. I can think of one who'd never get the chance. That's one down and 9 to go. Miss Kilgallen.
Well, could I use it?
Yes.
Could I hold it in my hand?
Yes.
Is it decorative as well as useful?
It could be.
I would say this, that the application of it in the decorative sense would require perhaps an extension of your usual acceptance of its character, but I can see where it could or might be considered decorative. Is that fair, Mr. Wilson?
But it is useful, primarily.
Mm-hmm.
Could I use it year-round rather than at a special season?
Yes.
Is it worth more than $5?
No.
No, that's 2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Gabel.
Is it something that's worn?
Yes.
Is it worn solely by women?
Yes.
Is it something that's worn above the waist?
Yes.
Notice the modesty of my blush. Is it something that my wife would be apt to have on now?
No.
No. 3 out of 7 to go, Miss Francis.
That means, therefore, that you could see it if I did have it?
I would think in a general sense we'd accept that if it was in use, we would see it, wouldn't you say so?
Is it from the shoulders, is it worn from the shoulders up?
Yes.
Is it worn in the area of the face?
In the area of the face? Yeah. What is the area of the face, please?
The area of the face is the head.
The head. Then we would have to agree that it's worn in the area of the face, wouldn't we, Mr. Wilson?
It's above the strike zone, John.
Would it be worn above the eyebrow zone?
Yes.
Then it is worn on top of the head when it is worn?
Yes.
Yes. Is it something other than a hat?
Yes.
Is it made of hair?
Is it made of hair? No. 4 down and 6 to go, Mr. Cerf.
It is worn, though, in the neighborhood of the hair. Is that right, Mr. Wilson?
That's right.
Is it used to keep the hair in very good shape, would you say?
Yes.
Yes.
It has
Might
that
it,
application.
might it come in the category of either combs or hairpins?
What would you say?
Well, actually, the category is so broad. Bennett, run a couple more names. If you get it, I won't flip the card. Combs, hairpins.
I know.
Bobby pins?
Something that ladies use to pin up their curlers? Would that be the...
Curlers was the word we were looking for. Very good. I felt that I took some license with Mr. Wilson's product so that I threw all the cards over. But I congratulate you because actually you did have it. It's
Arlene whispered in her dulcet tones, curlers. That's how I got it.
that's what it is. Actually, Mr. Wilson is the Wilson Manufacturing Company, and he has a curler which he calls Will Hold. Is that not right? Right. Now, here's one thing we...
Kind? Are they the
No, they're made of plastic.
Hard.
Made of plastic. And this was the question we both dreaded, you know, are they mineral, vegetable, or animal? Because they're made of all kinds of things. His are all plastic, so you're going to have to fudge on that, but fortunately you did put us to the test. Mr. Wilson, I hope you enjoyed your visit with us. Nice to have you with us. We'll meet tonight's mystery guest in just a moment, but first, here is a word from our sponsor. Now we come to the special feature of our program, the appearance of our mystery challenger, for which, as you know, the panel is always blindfolded. Are the blindfolds all in place, panel?
Yes, sir.
Good. Will you enter mystery challenger and sign in, please? All right. Panel, as you know, in this case, we go to a different form of questioning, one question at a time, in turn, moving clockwise. And we'll begin with Dorothy Kilgallen.
Are you a movie star?
That's a matter of opinion.
But I would say yes. Mr. Gabel?
Have you a picture now appearing on Broadway?
Sweetheart, I have the most wonderful picture now appearing on Broadway. Darling.
Miss Francis?
The Gabels. Are you also a television personality?
Well, that's also a matter of opinion. I'm not sure, really. I don't know.
But the answer is yes. Mr. Cerf?
Are you a member of a very well-known family, several sisters of whom are stars of one sort or another?
Well, actually, Moms and Dadums really felt that we were all talented, but I'm the only one that really made it.
1 down and 9 to go. Miss Kilgallen?
Have you played in motion pictures that appeal to teenagers?
Of course, this is a little bit rough. I haven't found a motion picture yet which didn't appeal to teenagers.
Well, I can change that to motion pictures that are about teenagers.
I'd like to say that was true, but it isn't.
It isn't true. That's 2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Gabel.
I can't hear the answer.
Said I'd like to say it was true, but it isn't true.
On the assumption that you're a female, have you got a manager who has an office on 59th Street?
Not that I know of, darling, unless it's the U.S. Income Tax Department.
3 down and 7 to go, Miss Francis.
Well, you're marvelous at all these dialects. Are you primarily a comedian?
I don't think so.
No, I would think, here again, I have to take some license. I would say that, asked, if this was so, I would probably say yes. Now, technically, I don't know whether this is true, but I would say certainly in public appreciation it would be true, a comedian. Mr. Cerf?
Have you been on the Broadway stage at any time within the past season?
The past season, sweetheart, no. However, the one that goes to Deadwood, North Dakota, I have been on many times.
What?
I haven't heard one word of any of these things.
This past season, no, but the one that goes to Deadwood, North Dakota, yes, many times. That's 4 down and 6 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
John, now I can't understand you. What was that about North Dakota?
Well, we used to run this stage, you see, from here to Deadwood.
Oh, I see. Did you ever play The Blue Angel?
No, sweetheart, I never played the Blue Angel.
5 down and 5 to go, Mr. Gabel.
Were you ever on this panel?
No, sweetheart, I was never on this panel there.
6 down and 4 to go, Miss Francis.
Do you sing?
I think so.
Yes, indeed. Mr. Cerf?
Do you do an imitation of Miss Gabor as part of your act at any time?
Well, honey, sometimes I do and sometimes I don't, depending on whether or not she's in the audience.
Can I take a...
You think you know better?
Can I take a crack at this? I'd like to guess
sure.
you, Edie Adams.
Yes. I must say, I can't think of 2 folks who would have more fun. Bob Hope or Edie and Bob Hope, as the way are now in Call Me Buona, which is the movie that is on Broadway that we had reference to. And I can't think of 2 people who'd have more fun together than these 2. They're so full of good humor. Both of them. Great to see.
It was a fun picture, too.
You're going to do summer theater
Yes, I'm going to do Rain in Warren and Cleveland.
in Ohio?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yes.
wonderful.
23rd and 30th.
Well, as you know, we're all tickled to death about the good fortune that has come to you recently. We hope it continues for a long, long time. It's nice to have you with us, Edie.
Thank you
Good
so
night.
much.
Well, I have to admit you've done very well so far tonight, panel, and we'll have another contestant after this word from our alternate sponsor. And now to meet a final contestant, will you enter and sign in, please? Lynn Rosenthal. Is it Miss or Mrs. Rosenthal? Miss Rosenthal, and where are you from?
Miami Beach.
From Miami Beach in Florida. It's at this time of year you dare to come up to see us. It's warm.
The only time.
It's nice at this time of year. Nice to have you with us. Miss Rosenthal, may I present our panel? Will you join me over here, please? You know how we keep score. All righty, then we'll let the audience in the theater and the audience at home know exactly what your line is. All right. Panel, we can tell you that Miss Rosenthal is self-employed and deals in a service, and we will begin the general questioning with Arlene Francis.
Can boys enjoy your service?
Yes.
Is it an outdoor service?
Sometimes.
You're also an indoor
Yes.
girl. Would your service come under the category of pleasurable ways to spend one's time?
No.
No. 1 pound and 9 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Miss Rosenthal, then is your service the sort that might improve the health or the state of repair of the people that you deal with?
No.
I'm afraid not most of the time. That's 2 down and 8 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Miss Rosenthal, do you go about in your work rather than staying in one place?
Yes, I go about.
And would it be fair to say that people aren't always pleased to see you, attractive though you are?
That's true, yes.
Do you ever give people a piece of paper?
I would say, knowing, you know, in a... Yes, I would say, Dorothy, here that I think it's reasonable to expect that in the performance of the service, Miss Rosenthal might give a piece of paper, yes.
Do you ever go to people without their having called you?
Yes.
Is it sometimes because they're in some kind of trouble or have done something they shouldn't have done?
I think generally we could say that was true, yes.
They could be innocent, of course. I mean,
Oh, yes.
until proven guilty.
Could a man do what you do?
Oh, yes.
Are you either a private detective or a summons server?
No.
No. 3 down and 7 to go, Mr. Gabel.
Well, are you a cop, Miss Rosenthal?
No.
No. 4 down and 6 to go, Miss Francis.
Self-employed cop.
Now, actually, I want to put all the cards over because Dorothy was very close. And I think you would in time have gotten it. We're beginning to run out of time. Miss Rosenthal is a bill collector. And I think what will interest you has her own company, the Federal Collection Service Incorporated. She's gone into business for herself as a bill collector.
Because so few people pay their bills down there?
Most of her clients are doctors and service stations, which makes a pretty interesting world. Thank you, Miss Rosenthal, very much. It's nice to have you with us. And so, very quickly, good night, Miss Kilgallen.
Good night. Good night, dear.
Good night, Dorothy, Arlene. Hail, farewell and hail.
Good night, my dear boy. Good night, Bennett.
Don't forget about that quarter horse, John. Good
I
night.
won't. Good night, Bennett, and thanks for being with us on What's My Line?
What's My Line is a CBS television network production in association with Mark Goodson and Bill Codman. This is Johnny Olson speaking. The preceding program was pre-recorded.